Well, hello there, everybody. Welcome to the program. I'm your host, Guy LeBlanc. Welcome to my wonderful world here in a basement in Canada. Let me tell you something. It is not easy at all being Canadian today. I've got two guys who are on the Moohead Radio broadcast, and I've got Mrs. Moohead out there at the grill. And it was kind of Mr. Moohead to allow me. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not really in Canada. I honestly wish to God that she wasn't out there because I could have at least perpetuated this particular charade. But I am Guy LeBlanc, and I am from Canada, and I'm vacationing here in South Carolina, and I wanted to talk to you specifically about my Toronto Raptors. Welcome to the Raptors Report. And I wanted to do this basically three at a time. Hello there, Bronc. Guy LeBlanc here. Nice to see you, my buddy, my British friend. I want to three things I want to bring up here in this Raptors Report. The first one would be Serge Ibaka. The second one would be the head coach, Dwayne Casey. And the third one would be Kyle Lowry. All right, these are the three things I wanted to talk about today. I will start with the Serge Ibaka. A lot of people here in Canada are saying, Guy. That's what they call me, because that's my name, Guy LeBlanc. They say Guy. And sometimes I think they're joking. They go, Guy. But they're actually speaking to me. What they say to me is this Serge Ibaka thing, it's all his fault. He's just not showing up. Games 1 and 2, there's been no Serge Ibaka on the floor whatsoever. I want to tell you something that will make this, you change your perception. I do not blame Serge Ibaka. I blame Russell Westbrook. And I know you're saying this is really somewhere coming out to left field there, Guy. But no, I want you to listen to my reasoning. Serge Ibaka starts in Oklahoma City. All right. Now, before we go back and go into the history of Serge Ibaka, which is a very limited, brief one, so I won't bore you with details, I want to first explain to everybody out there that if you walk down the street, you see a morbidly obese person, okay? A person who is a blimp, a person who weighs like this inordinate mass of humanity. I can almost guarantee you that the reason is because they were deprived of food when they were young. Almost invariably, they have like 14 brothers and sisters who were just physically stronger than they were and wrestled the food away from them. And by the time they get older, they need the food. They have the way to get it, and they eat nonstop, and then they end up on that 600-pound TV show, okay? And for morbidly obese people, that's where morbidly obese people become famous. This is what happened to Serge Ibaka. You see, he was in Oklahoma City, and when you play in Oklahoma City, his whole job, his role, everything that he did, he blocked shots, he played defense. You remember, if you were an Oklahoma City fan, and I think there were 4 or 5 of them at the time, Serge Ibaka was like the human eraser. He would go up and he would block shots. He would get rebounds. He played defense. He was a stopper. He did all the things you'd want from a guy. Then all of a sudden, he ends up getting free agency deal. But while he's playing, the one thing he didn't get to do was shoot the ball because of Russell Westbrook. Because nobody, let's be honest about this. He's like the stronger brother or sister who wrestles the food away from the person who ends up morbidly obese. This is what happens to people when they're deprived of something specifically. I hope this is making sense to you, because when I come to the final point, you will understand exactly what I'm saying. And you will not blame Serge Ibaka. And okay. I don't want my countrymen to be blaming Serge Ibaka, because it is not his fault. He didn't get to shoot the basketball because Russell Westbrook has to shoot 43 times in critical games, and the other times like 36, okay? And as long as he's shooting more than 30 times a game, Russell Westbrook is happy. The problem is nobody gets to play any good basketball over there. And Kevin Durant leave there because, let me be honest with you, he's fighting for shots in the playoffs. How can Kevin Durant be fighting for shots against this little homunculus guy, this Russell Westbrook guy. So what happened? Of course, Serge Ibaka goes to Orlando Magic because that's kind of like Siberia, except it's warmer. That is exactly what, he goes there. And what does he do once he goes to Orlando Magic? He does nothing but shoot the basketball. Nothing but shoot the basketball. One after another, just like the crazy 600-pound morbidly obese person eating 74 pizzas for dinner. This is exactly the same mentality. Just constantly shoot the ball. And then he gets the opportunity to go as a free agent to Toronto. And we welcome him with open arms because, let's be honest, we welcome everybody with open arms here in Canada. I mean, we are lovely, wonderful people. We have beautiful country. If you have not been to Canada, believe me, it is a wonderful, wondrous place. And what does he do? What happened to the human eraser? What happened to him? He gone. I mean, all we get is and now he's not even doing nothing. He's not defending. He's not rebounding, not blocking shots, not scoring points. And it all goes back to Russell Westbrook, because if Russell Westbrook had not denied him the opportunity to shoot the basketball, he would not be having difficulty in this playoff as we speak. Not his fault. Folks, if you're going to complain about Russell Westbrook. That's the first thing. Number two, I was going to talk about Dwayne Casey. And Dwayne Casey, I have a joke that I wanted to tell you. What is the difference between Dwayne Casey and Alvin Gentry?
I have no idea. What is the difference between Dwayne Casey and Alvin Gentry?
I have to kind of think about that because I don't really think there is one. The bottom line is this. What kind of decision-making do we have going on here that would allow for C.J. Miles to be guarding Kevin Love for extended period of time when the game is on the line? I'm looking at this and saying, Dwayne Casey, you can't be this stupid. You have a mountain of a man in Valanciunas. This is a man who, he is the size of three men. And he can score the ball at will every time. He can pound the ball into the wood, and he can get to 3 feet of the basket and put it in. And nobody on the Cleveland Cavaliers can stop him. Nobody even get. He can score at will. Yet he only gets the ball in the beginning of games when we're doing good. But he never sees the ball at crunch time. He never gets to see the ball. Now, the thing is, when you had bigger guys, you have Siakam, and you have guys coming off the bench with these long wingspans. Didn't they even watch the Indiana Pacers playing against the Cleveland Cavaliers, watching Thaddeus Young just put an end to Kevin Love with his long wingspan? All you have to do is put a guy with the long wingspan on him. Kevin Love can't shoot the basketball. But no. Dwayne Casey, after losing game one, he figures, I'm going to come up with something new, original, and different. I'm going to put smaller, Lilliputian guys. That's a Canadian SAT word. They're going to put the little guys, follow the yellow brick road, and they're going to put a bunch of little guys on Kevin Love. And what does Kevin Love proceed to do? He backs down like a United moving van, and he backs right down, and he puts the ball in. One after another. And I'm to the point where I'm like, put somebody else on him, C.J. Miles. He's supposed to be in the game because he's supposed to be shooting, but he's exhausted because he's being beaten to death by a man who's 50 pounds heavier than he is. But no. When does Dwayne Casey make the final change? When it's 18 points behind and the game is too late. Yeah, it's over. It's done. What is the point of this exercise? I thought we were here to win. What do we win 61 games during the regular season for? What is the point of winning this many games if you come to the point and then you end up with C.J. Miles as a defensive stopper? How does this work? So I want to point out to those people in Canada who are blaming Serge Ibaka, you've got the wrong guy. Dwayne Casey is the reason all of this is happening because he's playing the wrong personnel. If it were me, I would keep giving the ball to Valanciunas until the Cleveland Cavaliers say, I give up. I can't stop this mountain of a man. I just quit. I'm done with this. This is what I would do. And the third thing I want to talk about is Kyle Lowry. If somebody were to say to me, Guy, what is the deal? What is the common thread that goes with this particular team? And I'd say DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry. You are grabbing your throat and you're saying, and that is the universal international sign of joking. That's very realistic, by the way. I'm very impressed with that. That's a good one. That kind of reminds me of Linda Lovelace after like the 85th take on Deep Throat. At any rate, we will proceed onward. I want to point out to you that Kyle Lowry is easily frustrated. Okay, I mean, so what form does it take? See, another guy, John Wall, is like that. He gets technical fouls. Okay, that's what he does when he gets frustrated. Technical fouls. What does Kyle Lowry do? He accumulates personal fouls. Yeah. Personal fouls. So he's in foul trouble from the minute the game begins. And they're not even trying to make big defensive plays. He's reaching, he's grabbing, he's doing whatever he can. My God, he looked like a priest in a boys' choir. He had his hands all over people. It was pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. And he obviously went out of the game. Because every season we go through this. Kyle Lowry doesn't show up for the postseason. He has one good game, then he has two bad games, and over and over and over it goes. DeMar DeRozan, meanwhile, who is a very good player. Pretend this is a Labatt's. It's not. It's water. But again, theater of the mind, people. Theater of the mind. Here's the deal. DeMar DeRozan is a good ball player. But what happens once Kyle Lowry goes into his funk, DeMar DeRozan then hugs the ball. So then he scores as often as he can score one-on-one style because he loses his faith in all of the people around him and nobody else gets to touch the ball. And I thought the whole idea of this team was to pass the ball back and forth. But that's not what happened. So these three things are the reason that my beloved Toronto Raptors are unable to get over this hurdle and are down 2-0. And it was so quiet. I was there. Right there in that arena. And I swear to God, I could hear almost everything people were. There was a guy who was one section over from where I was sitting who was apologizing to his girlfriend for having farted after eating popcorn. I could hear this because it was so quiet. Where are the waving white towels and all? Where did it go? And where it went. Dwayne Casey, Serge Ibaka, but really Russell Westbrook, and in the end, Kyle Lowry. So that's it for the Raptors Report. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope to be back with you again after the next game, trying to control the proceedings here so that I can at least try to tell you what went wrong, because I feel like I almost have to do something, because if I don't, it's going to be hell to pay. All right, everybody. Anybody here before I get out of here? Anybody in the panel below want to ask Guy a question? That's it. So that's the way it goes, huh? So, this is American kindness extended to a foreigner. Well, let me tell you something. I'm going to aim high. As a Canadian, I'm going to tell you that I am going to maintain my composure, unlike Kyle Lowry. I want to prove to the world that Canadian people are not these hot-headed people who make these impulsively bad decisions. So, I will take my leave of you right now, gentlemen.
Oh, I have a question.
And of course, in the end, I'm not sure that Matt has. Do you even have audio, Matt?
I don't know. He's looking kind of.
No, your audio is not even working, Matt. You see, it's a good thing that Guy was handling all this. Damn good thing.
So, what happened to Dwayne Casey? Because I would argue that he's probably one of the best coaches in the entire East. You know, and he's got a ring with the Mavericks. So what happened to him?
Matt, I'm not kidding you. I can't hear. Yeah, Matt has to come back in and see if he can get back in. I don't know. I mean, it really peculiar. Really peculiar.
Living up to his church mouse billing.
I don't know what happened to him. It's like, you're no evil. No, wait, you're back with us. Is it going to work this time, Matt?
What's up?
Okay, there he is. There he is, Matt. Matt didn't like Guy.
I think that Guy was. I think he messed with my audio because I was going to say stuff to him. I was going to rip on him about. I was going to rip on him about the Indians kicking the Blue Jays' ass last night.
Oh, maybe we can bring him back. No, we don't want to bring him back. I think this is a one-time shot.
That was a one-off character.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of them work and some of them don't, folks.
You need to work on your John Dorsey, man.
John Dorsey.
You're being called the Unibronc.
Say what?
He's being called the Unibronc.
Oh, Unibronc. Yeah, because of the hoodie.
Hey, it's just my homage to Trayvon Martin. So don't shoot me, guys. I don't have any guns with me, so don't shoot me.
Talk again, Matt, would you?
What's that?
What?
I didn't hear that.
Your lips move, but I can't hear what you're saying.
Yeah, it's easier to communicate with the Apollo 8 astronauts than it is with Matt.
What's that? What? I said.
Okay, good.
We're going over the dark side of the moon now. We're getting loss of signal with Matt.
But whatever.
It might be the headphones I have in. I put different headphones in.
Yeah, where were they made? In Sri Lanka?
Yeah.
They were probably made in Arizona.
Boy, I'll tell you, a lot of background noise. So yeah.
That's
All
terrible.
right. At any rate, yeah, I don't know what happened to Dwayne Casey. I
exactly. Because I would argue that he'd be a better coach than Tyronn Lue.
Well,
but he's not showing it, is he?
Well, look, what I can tell you is the whole Guy LeBlanc thing. I wanted to look at this inside out because we're usually the forlorn organization, right?
Totally.
So, I can actually commiserate with the people who are Raptor fans going, "Oh God, not again!" And
imagine sitting there in Toronto and your city is being called Lebronto. Imagine, what must that be like?
LeBron could have stuffed the basketball up his asshole and blown it out with a fart, and it would have gone in from 35 feet.
Absolutely.
Unbelievable performance, but only, you got to personalize it if you're a Toronto fan. You've got to say, God, that could only happen to us against LeBron, against Cleveland, because it's like this big hurdle. Now, I want to point out that this series is not over by any stretch of the imagination.
God, no.
Cavaliers have blown 26-point leads. They've blown all kinds of things in the past. And, they've damn near blown more than Melania Trump has. And that's saying a hell of a lot. So with that in mind, don't pack this aside and say this series is done, because it's
Melania got paid for all that. So,
Well, so's Kyle Lowry and Serge Ibaka, but
that was her job.
I don't buy the Russell Westbrook thing that Guy was selling. I just think that's a real reach. But no, the bad decisions. I mean, they brought Kevin Love to life. I can't believe it was like they reanimated him. It's like
they took electric to his bolts on his neck, and it just
yeah. it's like leave well enough alone, man.
It must be the Toronto city water. Probably showering or something.
To me, the whole thing was mystifying, and they just collectively just slumped to the ground when LeBron is their master. And I mean, it became apparent instantly in the third quarter where they started out with that bizarre turnover that, I mean, I don't even understand.
Yeah.
Kyle Korver can't just run in front of you and take the ball away from you. I mean, what the hell is that? My impression of Kyle Korver. Oh, minute. I want to grab the ball. It's like, how does he use his lightning hands to steal a ball at midcourt? I've got no damn idea. And by the time the wreckage was done, I mean, how many times in a row did they throw the ball down low to Kevin Love? And it was CJ Miles guarding it. I'm like, what was the logic here? I watched CJ Miles play in Cleveland. That guy can't play a lick of defense. He has no clue. Where is Serge Ibaka? Serge Ibaka could block every shot that Kevin Love, at least the old Serge Ibaka could. I don't know about this one. I mean, it looks like they have every advantage over us. And the coach is pulling the wrong strings intentionally.
Didn't he watch the Pacers series at all? I mean, Miles Turner fucked us in the ass, man.
I got no idea. I mean, and
Thaddeus Young.
And here's another thing that really made me wonder. I mean, when the game started out, I would have thought, boy, they're going to come out fire and brimstone here. Because,
I thought that.
But no. They slowed the pace down. It's like, what are they doing? It's like, this is the team that averaged like 113 points a game or some such crazy number. It's like, why are they moving so slowly? Why are they so deliberate? They had no defensive pressure. They weren't bodying up the Cavaliers. They weren't stopping the Cavaliers from getting into their sets. LeBron would stand out there and go, okay, Kevin, I want you to back cut. Bing, layup. I mean, it's like, Kyle, go to the basket. Bing.
LeBron was actually telling people where to go and what to do and directing them, and they still couldn't stop it. They knew what was going to happen 3 seconds later, and they let it happen.
And very Paul Brown-esque.
Yeah, what I don't understand is while LeBron's out there pointing around, why isn't somebody up in LeBron's shirt? It's like, the whole thing was really weird. And so we were down by 3 at the end of the first quarter, fell behind by like 9 in the second quarter. But the whole pace and tempo of the game was wrong for Toronto. And they shot 60% in the first half, and they were up by 2.
Exactly. I knew they were going to fucking collapse.
Toast.
They never shoot 60%.
My God. I mean, they were, a Thomas's English muffin. They were toast, man. I mean, when they came out in the third quarter, it's like they knew. It's like, well, we just played our best quarter of the series. We're only up by 2. Let's fold the tent.
Well, game 3 is an ultimate trap game. The Cavs are going to be like feeling good about themselves.
That's the problem. That's why I say it's
good about themselves. I think game 3, the Cavs have to come out and win the first quarter. Then Toronto's heads will drop. But if they go out and fuck up and fuck around and score 17 points in the first quarter, Toronto's back in this series.
Gemini 605 wants to know what's on the grill. Catfish. And Brian, you already answered that question. Let's see. Amsterdam. He's in the chat room as well. Daktar, who's on acid. Yeah, and it's not Batlamore, it's Baltimore, Daktar. All right, I don't even know what does BHISF mean. Guys on acid. I have no idea what. At any rate, I guess I'm at a loss to explain Toronto, except after the game. I don't know. Did you see DeRozan and Lowry in the postgame?
No.
Well, you need to watch those because that's what really said everything. They asked questions. DeRozan answered every one, and Lowry just sat there looking the other direction, looking at his watch, looking at whatever,
Well, I mean, he's not right in the head. Kyle Lowry.
No.
He definitely has mental health issues. He's not. I mean, their heads drop so easily, Toronto, to begin with. You think they'd be used to it by now, and Casey would do something about it. So, yeah, I think you got to blame Casey. I bet he gets fired. If the Cavs sweep them, Casey's going to get fired. Yeah.
That should make Amsterdam busy.
Sorry, I was making sure the fish was off the grill because the temperature had reached optimal internal temperature.
Optimal internal temperature.
Yeah, you got to understand how to do these things. You know, I'm Bubba Rothstein, the smoking Jew.
Did you go out and catch the catfish yourself, or did you?
No, we got it at a food co-op in Asheville, up toward Asheville in Hendersonville, North Carolina. Yeah, it's nice, locally raised catfish. You know. So, so much for the Cavaliers at up 2-0. We just wait for the next game. But honest to gosh, I watched the second half of that game, and I was just, watching LeBron. Anybody who says that he's not as good as Michael Jordan.
Oh, I'm sick of this argument.
Just lick my winky. I mean, God Almighty. The last one was the one that got me. I mean, the high arcing shot was the one that everyone was talking about, but it was the one he did after that where he faked the one way and then turned around and just threw it. He wasn't even looking at the basket and it went in. And the thing that was
a horseplay.
The cumulative Canadian crowd reaction, you could hear individual people groan. And you know who groaned the loudest?
The Mennonites?
No, I leave the Mennonites alone. Goddamn Mennonites. What did they ever do to you? Gee.
I I think Brian likes zippers or something.
Yeah, what are you? I mean, hey, they're plain people, yes, but they're a lot fancier than the Amish.
Exactly.
They're modern Amish people. They believe in electricity. Leave them alone.
Yeah, they believe in 3G, just not Wi-Fi.
A Mennonite can use an electric dildo, and Amish can't. Okay, so I mean, they're more progressive, so give them that. God almighty. They can drive cars. Mennonites. I forgot what question I asked that he answered with Mennonites.
About what the crowd was going to do.
Oh, yeah. The guy.
Somebody was saying about the
groaning.
Responsible to the Ottawa, South Ottawa accent.
Oh. What is that? What does it mean? BH? What? ISF? I don't even know what it means. At any rate, the person who groaned the loudest was Hubie Brown. It was hilarious. He goes,
Did you see the other time when DeRozan or somebody put up a shot? And he goes, yes, before it gone in.
I know.
I was like, oh, God.
I know. Fuck Hubie, you old bag of bones.
I was explaining to Mrs. Brown, this is what this guy is like, man. He's such a fucking Cleveland LeBron-ator. He hopes the shots go in.
Yeah, you know what I think? I think that Hubie should be tied down and butt fucked by Mennonites.
I think you can think of a worse fate than that, man. That's not harsh enough.
Oh, they would be gentle because they're nonviolent people.
Yeah, exactly. They're like Quakers, you know.
Although they do have horses. Okay, enough about Mennonites because
Hubie.
Next, we have an opportunity to talk about the Cleveland Indians very quickly. The Indians made
24 runs in 2 games. How about that offensive output?
Yeah, you split. You only win one of them.
Yeah. I mean, Brian Shaw's like, you like me now?
Brian Shaw.
Oh, my God. I mean, and who was it, Bronk, who said, no, Tyler Olson is the real deal? Blow me.
Oh, no, it might have been me. Did I say that? It sounds like something I would say.
That is something you did say, Tyler Olson. Tyler Olson is
there. He's fucking awesome, isn't he?
Where have all the baseballs gone? Long time passing. I mean, it was like, my God. Could you serve them up any better for them, Tyler? Game after game, you know. So the Indians.
That's a great name, though, Tyler Olson. You can imagine him walking around Arizona with his gun at the latest
and the meeting. Girls who are twins.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Six fingers on his hand, the whole bit.
Look, the Indians made moves. They finally got rid of Giovanni Urshela. They designated him so that the Milwaukee Brewers can have him. No, I don't know that, but they found Jesus Aguilar, so they're going to find Giovanni Urshela.
And what about this Plutko kid?
Yeah, a good game.
Great Cleveland name.
Adam Plutko.
You know, like 8 Plutkos on my street when I was growing up.
yeah. Well, I don't see. Nobody really considers him a big league prospect.
No.
But I mean, he ranged up to 91 miles an hour on the radar. He's kind of, you know, he's downright blazing compared to Josh Tomlin.
Who we're going to see tonight against the Yankees in Yankee Stadium. Yeah, you looking forward to that?
Yeah, blazing compared to Josh Tomlin is like blazing compared to my urine flow at 60. Not, you know,
Flomax, dude.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that's not. We're not making Josh Tomlin comparisons, but Plutko gave us a needed. And they sent him back down right afterwards. And then we also, what was the other move? Eric Gonzalez is promoted so that Giovanni Urshela could be kicked to the curb. And then Beliveau, who's got the best name of all. Lord Beliveau, come forth, hither and yon. Beliveau has one happy moment where he strikes a guy out looking, proceeds to lose the next game, and then he's DFA'd. That's the end of him. Thank God.
Sounds like a Harry Potter character.
One at a time. Go ahead, Brian.
Sounds like a Harry Potter character.
Yeah, I know. And he's gone. So, and then Ogando, who we have seen last time he pitched to the American League, he was with the Rangers for a while. He's got control problems. He had a pretty live arm, but he's like 82 years old now. I don't know whether he can help us or not. But the Indians, they're finally getting on their hitting shoes. Encarnacion finally woke up and started hitting the baseball. But
was that 3 home runs? That was 3 home runs he hit against the Rangers.
3, and then he had 3 hits the next game. And he said, he gave credit. I forget who he gave credit to. But it wasn't the baby Jesus. It was another guy, another player who, with another team, it seems to me, and another organization that he talks with, who, that gave him an inspirational message. Who knows? But Lindor now is smacking the ball 440 feet. And Ramirez is whacking the ball. Even Kipnis has started to hit the ball on a line, not at people. So
that surprises me.
It is surprising, kind of disappointing.
That's the only thing our new third baseman isn't doing is hitting home runs, but he's hitting everything else. So,
well, I mean, I think Ramirez is hitting a lot of home runs for him. Yeah, he's got 8. Didn't he have 8 this year?
Oh, I was talking. Yeah, but I was talking about Gonzalez.
Oh, well, no, he's a utility guy. He'll see the field in late innings. He hits better than Giovanni does. And but he's a utility infielder. We always have one on the roster. Tito does the same thing. It's color by numbers, and that's his utility guy.
Well, we have to have a Gonzalez on the team every year anyway. I remember Pedro Gonzalez.
Oh, so do I. Center fielder.
Pedro. Yeah, it's second baseman too. I think
second baseman and center fielder. They couldn't find a spot for him.
He was the ultimate banjo hitter, man.
Pete Gonzalez, right? Yeah, I remember him. Yeah, he sucked.
He's right up there with Vern Fuller.
Vern Fuller, leave Vern Fuller alone. That guy, he was an animal. That guy. Yeah, incredible. I can match you infielder for infielder. Jack Brohammer. Go ahead, Bronk.
Frank Duffy.
All right, Jackie Heidemann. Go ahead. The stench catch was so bad from Heidemann that Bronk lost it.
Richie Scheinblum.
Richie Scheinblum.
He was good.
Oh my God, we've had, it's been this way in Cleveland for so many years. We had so many weak hitting infielders. I remember that one year that Duffy and Heidemann were together, and they called it the kitty core. Do you remember the kitty core? That's what they called them. And they couldn't hit the ball. They were terrible.
So bad that Dwayne Kuiper as a rookie beat them out. That's how bad they were.
Yeah, Dwayne, Mr. Power, Kuiper. Yeah. But yeah, it was entertaining watching the ball leave the park in Cleveland, and it's great to see them finally score runs for Corey Kluber. That was kind of a nice thing. And you're serious? We have to watch idiot Tomlin pitching against the Yankees
tonight, man.
Oh my
God! Yankee Stadium.
Giancarlo Stanton has a fucking hard on.
Yeah, I mean, there's people probably betting the house against the Indians tonight, but this will be the game where Tom will show up and only give up one run or something.
No,
that's how that shit works.
I think he's going to get sit down.
He's going to get pounded.
It's going to be Homer Derby in the Bronx.
Well, that's what we all think, but who knows?
Yeah. Well, at any rate, it's entertaining to watch them hitting the ball for once. Yeah. Anyway. And Bradley Zimmer, boy, can he run.
Oh, he's
boy, can he run. Player. My God, when he went from first to home on the double, it was like he was a blur coming around third base. It's fun watching him. He's not the greatest hitter in the world, but, if that guy can hit 250, and he's not the power guy that they projected at all.
Yeah, not yet. I think he'll get powerful.
I don't believe it, because I think that if you turn him into a pull happy guy, he's going to strike out 200 times a season. I think they're trying to get him to go to the opposite field because he's a better fire starter. Just when he gets on base, he's like Rajay Davis. He's a guy
he's a prodigy, isn't he?
Yeah, well, he's a guy. If he gets on base, he can change the game. It's like Kenny Lofton. I remember when Kenny Lofton first came up to Cleveland, they were trying to figure out a way how we're going to get him on base. So they had him bunting because he was considered a punch and Judy hitter, but he actually developed a fast bat and actually, hit a lot of doubles and he hit some home runs. But that's why I think they're just trying, and they want Zimmer to get more selective and take more walks just to get him on base because he's a fire starter. So we'll see. But yeah, I guess
8 walks.
Say what?
Last game they took 8 walks. So
yeah, and that's important. I mean, in the end, that's how it gets done. If your big boppers are finally hitting, that's how it works. You get men on base, then you get the crooked numbers. And it's not a coincidence when guys are coming up with men in scoring position and the top of the order. I mean, Brantley looks great. Brantley's stroke looks just as sweet as ever.
Yeah, now you've said it. I wasn't going to say anything. Now he's going to end up with the bubonic plague next week.
Well, that may be the case, but I mean, he hasn't lost anything off of his swing. His bat speed is all there, smooth as ever. Line drives.
Come back. I'm on the record for saying that a few times.
Yeah, I think a lot of us wondered whether, it was just another Grady Sizemore thing and it might still be, but it's nice to see that he's whacking the ball, and he has been since the beginning of the year. He's been the one Indian who's been consistent. Cold weather, warm weather, he's been the consistent one. So that's really great. Now, if you're wondering about the process, the 76ers blew a 22-point lead.
I watched some of that game. Do we really have to worry about a team that goes to Al Horford at crunch time? I mean, do these teams, if we get to play them, we don't need to take them that seriously. They're suck.
Well, something, what amazed me was in the crunch possession that Embiid let Horford drive around him and didn't even try to block the shot. What the hell was that? I mean, I'm watching this thing and I'm saying, is that part of the process too? I mean, they're sunk. They're sunk.
It's so stiff too. And I can't believe they let him beat him.
But, I have this sick feeling in the pit of my stomach, and I have a pretty large stomach, folks, and it's a big pit in my stomach.
How big is it?
Well, I'm not even going to go there exactly. What I will say is, if you thought that the Indiana series was badly officiated, just wait until we have to play the Celtics if we get that far. The league initiative is to get Boston into the fucking finals and not to let LeBron into the finals. And, they've tried everything they could. In game 1 against Toronto, they tried everything they could. I mean, the bogus tie-up and the flagrant foul that they eventually end up calling on Love the day after to try to prevent him from even being aggressive while he's being raped. I think
he
that
was ass raped on that play. It was three different guys.
Three guys.
And then they get for a flagrant foul.
Hey, Brian.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this will tie into the Kevin Love thing. So a girl is laying on the curb, and her clothes are ripped off, and she clothes are in tatters, and she's screaming, "Grape, grape, grape!" And the police officer comes to her rescue and says, "Don't you mean rape?" She goes, "No, there were a bunch of them." It's a produce joke.
My initial thought was, and where was Ben Roethlisberger?
Yeah, exactly, dragging her by her feet into the men's room. Now, I mean, there were 3 guys who were literally grabbing at Kevin Love. It was terrible, and they gave Toronto 2 clean opportunities to win that game in the closing minutes, closing seconds of the game, and they just didn't want to take it. So I think the league's like, all right, fuck this. I mean, we got to have a more entertaining Eastern Finals than Toronto choking against Boston. So now we're going to bring the big boy Cleveland in against Boston and let this amazing Celtics miracle continue. Do you believe in miracles? Yes. We're going to get that. And
I don't know who I hate more, Kevin McHale or QB Brown.
Well, Kevin McHale shouldn't even be calling the goddamn games in the studio on the play. I mean, fuck, what do we need that for? I mean, that would be like putting Austin Carr on the national broadcast. Get that weak stuff out of Austin. Try to at least be unbiased, Well, at any rate, 76ers really screwed their chances big time. They really screwed themselves. And the Celtics now are confident, and they're 2 up, and all they have to do is win 1 in Philadelphia. You get the feeling that the Philadelphia train has...
Oh, the Celtics are more than capable of scoring 12 points in a quarter, though, and going absolutely stone dead cold. We've all seen it. So,
yeah, but their defense is also, you failed to realize, though, Brad Stevens already knows that he can tell his guys to go in and foul the Cavaliers at will, and nothing will be called. So I guarantee you the Cavaliers and Boston series will be low-scoring games, and it will be the most grab-fest games you've ever seen in your life, with all the calls going one way. Boston will shoot 28 free throws, and Cleveland will shoot like 10. Yeah, and they'll never be in the bonus, and Boston will be in the bonus in all 4 quarters. Well, I already have seen this script play out before, and I'm not looking forward to it, because the Cavaliers, as it sits, are a better team right now than the Celtics without the guys that they need to have out there, without Kyrie and without Gordon Hayward. The Cavaliers are a better team, but I don't think... Yeah, but I'm getting ahead of myself because the series isn't over, but I just have a sick feeling that it's not going to be very much fun watching that series when the outcome will be predetermined. At any rate, I'm looking to see if there's anything else. Oh, the Browns have signed 13 undrafted free agents, Brian. Did you see these names?
I've only seen a couple.
Right.
They weren't updated completely on Yahoo. So,
all right. Here's what we got, and you. Can,
and they traded for a defensive end.
Yeah, well, I mean, look at what they're choosing. It's the exact opposite of what they did last year, which was nothing with UDFAs. Wide receiver Evan Berry out of Tennessee. He is a kick return specialist. Defensive back Elijah Campbell from Northern Iowa. A punter, And they're a little nervous about, Gonzalez because that name.
Yeah, he could play second base on the Indians.
That's right. Pedro's brother. Zane Gonzalez, they're a little bit concerned. So they're going to bring in competition, put a little pressure on him. Man, look at this. Offensive lineman Christian DeLauro. He's from the Cleveland area. You've got a defensive lineman, Daniel Ekweli from Washington State. You've got a defensive back, Mike Hanneman. You've got another offensive lineman, and Desmond Harrison. You've got a running back, and Dontrell Hilliard. That's going to be a practice squad guy if he makes it that far. Another offensive lineman from Oregon State. Another defensive back from Grambling, another wide receiver from Fresno State, another defensive lineman from Georgia, and another wide receiver from Texas Tech. I mean, it's like they're just going to throw as much shit at the wall as humanly possible and hope some of it sticks. And that's what they should be doing with UDFAs. Berry is the brother of the Pro Bowler, Eric Berry, for the Chiefs. And
JT Barrett pulled a Josh Daniels on Indianapolis. He was going to sign a contract and then decided not to.
Really?
Yeah.
It's interesting. Barry returned 53 kickoffs for 1,800 plus yards and 4 touchdowns. That ties the most in program history. He had a 34.2 yard kickoff return average. So again, we were very weak in our kickoff returns, and you're not going to see Jarrell Peppers back there again.
And the other thing is they're going to get they're trying to get Dorsey is actively going out and trying to build up the team speed.
Well, yeah. I mean, what's the use of having a kickoff returner? They don't return nearly enough balls because of rules changes, but if they do get their hands on them, you want somebody who can fly like the wind. You don't need slow people like Jabril Peppers in that situation. So I thought it's just an absolute opposite is what the Browns did in the previous season, where there was no strategy to the UDFAs whatsoever.
Well, and they were dumping all of their experience.
Right.
Except for like 2 or 3 guys in the starting lineup.
There's another thing I want to point out. This Donovan Mitchell, he's going to be the rookie of the year. And then there's the Ben Simmons 1-point performance against the Celtics. And so people are saying that Donovan Mitchell should be the rookie of the year, and that Simmons technically is not a rookie because he missed his whole rookie year because of a leg injury. But you know something, Mitchell's a guy who, what I've seen in Utah series, that he's tried to take the game over by himself, and he looked an awful lot like Russell Westbrook to me. What happens is these guys get spoiled by the media attention very, very quickly. He's a great young player, but again, score. LeBron James should be the beacon for players who, if you're not going to have a great game scoring the basketball, you can pass the basketball, you can block shots, or you can steal passes, or you can always put a body on somebody. But the scorer's mentality, there's always going to be great scorers, but if you want to be a great player, you got to do more than just that. Other than that, I think every one of these series is going to be pretty well predictable at this point. The Rockets will win. And I think that the Golden State, of course, has already won, and and I think that we're heading kind of close to Cleveland and Boston, which is what the league wants.
I think
to
it's
see.
important the Cavs sweep this just so they get the 5 days off.
Well, asking for a sweep from Cleveland. That's looking for an awful lot. Can you believe the Indians are still in first place at 17-14? The Tigers are in second. The Twins
sucks so bad in our division.
You notice how Tony the Calf isn't showing up because the Twins are 10-17.
Yeah, the Timberwolves, and it's hard being Tony the Calf, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Minnesota's 2-8 in their last 10. If the Indians had any ability to get going early in the year, they'd already be 10 games ahead of these teams. But
That's how the Indians are, and when they start the season, they all start off slow.
Yeah, it's just, I guess, the way it's always going to be. But it was interesting. Yonder Alonso has been an upgrade, I think, to Carlos Santana so far, don't you think?
I was pimping him big time when we got him. So.
Well, and he's actually played a pretty good first base. I mean, because that was, he won, Carlos Santana won a Gold Glove last year. But look at what Carlos Santana has done this year. In 106 at bats, he's hitting a 151. So basically, we're looking for him at about 15% of the way through this. If he were to get 600 at bats, he has struck out 21 times in the 106 at bats. He has 11 runs batted in and 2 home runs. That's it that he's given them. And he's walked 22 times, which he's walked more than he struck out, which is typical of Carlos, but a 151 average, and we're already into May. I mean,
that's Roberto Perez territory, 151.
Yeah, well,
I'm glad the team leader isn't batting a 235 anymore.
Well, that wasn't going to stay forever. The problem was that even if a few guys that you knew were going to hit, like Ramirez and Lindor, there's still the outfielders. I mean, there's still Matt Geyer that's playing far too much. And I still haven't heard anything about Melky Cabrera, except that he's fucking fat. They said that he's lost some weight. That wouldn't take very much. Yeah, just stop eating the Doritos. Christ almighty. But, the Indians corner outfielders, and I saw a picture of Lonnie Chisenhall, and it's like, it was a weird picture. He was grabbing his calf muscle.
Is he still hurt? Because I hope he is.
Yeah, he's still on the 10-day disabled list. Yeah. It's still there. I mean, and looking at Yonder Alonso this year, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that he's only hitting a 213, but he has given us 8 home runs and 21 runs batted in.
He's got some clutch home runs and RBIs.
So,
he's a bit.
Well, and that's what I was saying last week was, I'm surprised that they're so thin in their AAA program that they don't have anybody that they could possibly bring up that's going to at least match who they already have on the roster or surpass them.
You knew we were in trouble when they brought Rajay Davis back, because if you're holding on to 37-year-old men, there's a real problem. And when you're going after Melky Cabrera, it's a real problem. I don't know.
Yeah, especially when they don't look like Robert Redford.
Well, he's natural, but he's naturally fat. That's the problem.
Yeah, he needs to sort out that intestinal bleeding that pops up every now and then. That's nasty.
Well, Melky Cabrera, let's take a look at what's going on here. Right now, see, I don't think is he anywhere right now? He's not even playing in our minor league organization from what I can see.
Maybe you just dreamed it.
No. I mean, I think maybe he's like in some kind of in Goodyear in an extended spring training thing or something.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Is that where they put like Danny Salazar and all the other people? Like Vinny Pastano's probably still there.
I mean, but it does make you wonder. Even as a fat piglet, the guy last year hit like a 285. Which is far better than what our other guys could do. I mean, and he delivered 17 home runs as a fat slob. So, I mean, and he had 620 at bats. So, I mean, and he drove in 85 runs. I mean, I'd take those numbers. Matt Geyer, please.
Brandon Geyer, but anyway.
Oh, sorry about that. I had Matt on my brain. Matt Ogden. I don't want him either on the lineup.
Oh, God.
Geyer. I mean, it's like, my wrist hurts. I don't have power anymore. It's like, all right. Anybody else want to say anything, or else I'll bring Guy back.
Oh, God, don't.
I know how to threaten people.
So how many runs is Tomlin going to give up today?
Tomlin will be out of the game by the 3rd, 4th inning.
I'd say 6.
Six
and 3 wins.
I don't think the guy's coming back this year. I think they're just like gone forever. Yeah. I'll be watching though. And tonight's game, what do we have on the basketball front? We have the Rockets tonight.
Yeah, we got the other side of the bracket. Yeah, the West, I think.
Yeah, so I'll watch a little of that as well. So, and so that everybody knows, Mrs. Moohead is going to the Philippines on Monday. So all next week, Mr. Moohead, he'll be doing his normal Monday and Friday shows, but he'll be doing it as swinging bachelor cow will be the character.
Wow, bachelor cow.
I'll get out my sunglasses and I'll make sure that I have the mousse in my hair. And I'll open up my shirt and show the hair on my chest, and I'll get gold medallions too.
Well, I hope there's no typhoons or volcanoes where this is Moo's going. It seems to be a perennial problem out there.
Yeah, it's really funny. This is one of the strangest. I've never understood why this does this. You see, I'm on camera all the time, and it's only letting me. If I click on Bronk, there's Bronk, but then I don't come back on.
Yeah, we still see you there.
You must have had it stuck on your. I think it's like if you click on his name, it just like stuck on his cam. If you click back on your name, it stuck on your cam.
Yeah, but it's supposed to automatically sense voice and go back and forth, and I don't know why it's not doing that.
Well, the show's doing that for me, but I'm not clicking on anything.
Oh, really? Well, it's not doing that in the goddamn studio for me.
It's doing it for me
good.
too.
Okay, well, I guess that's all that matters. So I like if I want.
Who cares what's happening on your screen anyway?
And there we get Matt, and Matt gets center stage, and then there's the equine one. So, all right, we got last words here before the Indians start up at 7:00 today. We'll start with Bronk. What's your final word of the day, Bronk?
Game 3 is a trap game for the Cavs. They got to make sure they come out and play hard straight away and not let these Toronto Broncos team back in.
Now, is the game tomorrow?
Yes, it is.
Oh, boy. No rest
night.
For the weary. No rest
Saturday
for the
night,
weary.
I think, on ABC with fucking Hubie fucking Brown again.
God,
I'll be throwing things at the screen. I hate him.
Matt Ogden, final word.
That's Matt Geyer, by the way.
I think, honestly, the Cavs will be fine. The Cavs will probably go to the finals, I think. My opinion.
All right.
I hope so.
Well, I hope you're right. I hope you're right. And Brian, what do you have to say? And it can't be Mennonites.
No, I think the Browns are definitely going to be improved this year, and it'll be interesting to see who makes it out of training camp.
Right, and I think there are better days ahead for the Cleveland Browns. There couldn't be worse days now, could there? But I at least see a plan and some sense of what's going on. From what I understand, in the first day there were some jitters, and Baker Mayfield had some exchange problems with the center. But you would expect these things to happen early, see if they get wrinkled out, or ironed out, and but I think there's reason to be somewhat upbeat at this point, that at least we have people in there who are making decisions that make some sense, unlike Dwayne Casey, who's making decisions that don't make any damn bit of sense.
Guys won a ring, man. How'd that happen?
I don't know, because he shopped at Jared.
Who knows?
All right, everybody. Thanks a lot for tuning into this edition of Moohead Radio. Back again come Monday. I will be here, I promise you, at 6:00. Matt, you'll be working, so I take it you won't be here?
Yeah, Friday I'll be back.
Okay, that's good. Right. And Brian, I hope Brian and Bronk, you're welcome to be here as always.
I usually am.
No. Thanks, everybody.
He's practicing for the Muslim hordes.
Thanks, everybody, for tuning into this edition of Moohead Radio. It wouldn't be a show without Bronx dying in the end. Back again on Monday. Until next time, hasta la vista, Pastor Heads, and goodbye, everybody, from me. I love that. I love this whole Canadian thing.
Nobody else did.
Nobody else did.
No, it sucked.
Although I did want to share one thing with you. You know, when I put up the whole thing on Twitter that
You need a hockey stick for a prop.
Live in Toronto, which is the tourism site for
Live
Toronto,
in Toronto?
retweeted Guy LeBlanc. So the people that live in Toronto were probably like, "Oh, I can't wait for this show," and then they got that. You know, it's like, fuck that fat guy.
Well, it may be a higher standard than what they're used to.
I love Toronto. I love you, Toronto.
Toronto's
It's a good town. It really is. It's just right now a sad place, but it's
just stay off the sidewalk on Yonge Street. So,
the panhandlers will get in your way.
yeah.
All right, everybody. We'll
Triumph.
see you again on Monday. Until next time, hasta la vista, Pastor Heads. Good night.
See you next
Bye.